Well, hey, howdy, hey. It is the Thursday. Is that what day we're on? Yes, Thursday. Already. What a week it's been. So, if I'm a little discombobulated, it's because I just came from Alex Erickson's live and I shared it on my community tab. So if any of you guys are Watts Islanders, I would encourage you to go over and have a listen. It's very informative, and I think that making an informed decision is the best type of decision. Hello, Vincent's missing ear. Oh my gosh. I still have to email you those dadgum knots. I said, I'm going to do it when I get off the live. And then your girl crashed. I'm not even going to lie. Absolutely just crashed. I was exhausted. I'm so sorry, but I promise you, I really appreciate your help. And I don't like to be that kind of person who asks for help. And then you're like waiting around. Hey, Tia, good to see you. And then you're like waiting around until you're like, looky here, bish. I'm not going to help you no more. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, Vincent. I promise you, I will email you tonight with that stuff because I really do need and appreciate your help. So yes, I was over there and it was a wild ride. I was, y'all, my brain still hurts. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front. I'm not even gonna pretend like, hey, LFT, good to see you, babe. Thanks for coming, girls. Amelia Sparkles, hey, girl, hey. I'm not even gonna pretend. I was my brain hurts and my mind was blown. I was not ready. I didn't. I'm just going to say it because I have to say it. It has to come out. It's going to be bothering me if all this whole live if I don't say it. But I wasn't ready for the kidney story. I was not ready. Oh my gosh, Vincent, way to make listen. No problem. I was just refreshing my email every 5 minutes for days now. Hopped up on coffee and no sleep. Now I feel extra assholey. I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm y'all. When I saw it in chat, right? And I don't even remember who asked the question. Alls I saw was, "What about the kidney story?" And I was like, What? What possible?" I wasn't ready. And then here it comes. Chris Watts alleged allegedly email or texted someone saying that he was going to sell his kidney for $50 in like commissary credit. So now Dodge Correction is involved in this black market selling of organs and $50, and then and then nobody remembered except for criminality because she remembers all the things. She says, well, the R's would have would have really basically like dibs on the proceeds from the sale of of the kidney. And listen, I know it's not okay. The situation is not funny. It's not. It's messed up and it's really quite sad actually. But that kidney part, y'all, I was just done at that moment. I was like, I can't hear one more thing because all I could picture is the next thing is going to be a picture, like some whack ass Photoshop picture of Chris Watts in like a prison bathtub full of ice. Like I just, hey, Lupe, good to see you. I'm just like, hey, Molson man. I just was blown away. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And I suppose it's fitting that I watched that live first, and then we're going to talk about this case because y'all, now this case doesn't have kidneys. No, black market organs, sales over here. That's not what this case is about. But this, hey, bowling for cotton balls, bowling with cotton balls. Oh, night, night, sweet grandbaby. Um, Correct, Vincent's correct. 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 But $50 in commissary credit is what got me. That's what got me. But this case is messed up. So let me tell you about this Trevor Summers character here. So back in let me think when it was. Hold on. This started back in March of 2017. That's when the crime occurred. Okay. So Summers is alleged to have held his wife, Alyssa Summers, captive in Florida. And it was intended to be a murder self harm case, right? But that didn't happen. There was some situations that caused an intervening, like he ended up like driving her around, and he had stopped at a Walgreens, and she had gotten out of the car, and she tried to run away, but Trevor caught up to, got her and put her back in the vehicle. And then that's when the sheriff's deputies started to look for him, and they end up saving her. And before they arrested him, he tried to slash his own neck, and but the way that he was able to kidnap his wife, allegedly, according to the charges, was that, "Hey, Polly, good to see you," um, is that he went to the home, to their where his ex-wife was living. She was seeking a divorce, and he manipulated his daughter, and that's how he gained entry. But that's the actual, like, the bones of the case, as it were, right? But the really messed up part about it is the way that Mr. Summers has been able to manipulate the system and postpone going to trial. So what he did was he's gone back and forth and wanted, between representing himself and then having a lawyer, firing lawyers, one of the judge just recused off of hearing his case, and then on Monday, which was this Monday, which was jury selection day, he changed his mind and then decide, because he wanted a postponement, and his reason for wanting the trial continued to, I mean, postponed again for like the 11 billionth time, is that he was having trouble at being, because he's in jail awaiting trial, and as such he's having difficulty questioning and obtaining like expert witnesses, et cetera, and he didn't have all of the state's evidence against him. Okay, well, he has like a standby lawyer, right? And he asked for a postponement, and the judge was like, no. So then he decided, okay, I'm not going to have a standby lawyer. I'm going to have an actual lawyer, which the judge was like, fine, that's fine. But then when the actual lawyer agreed to be the trial lawyer, right? In that moment, he said, "Hey, look, hey, crazy mama." He said, "Oh, I'm not prepared to take this case. We are, to try this case, or to even, I need a little bit of time. Like, I've never been more unprepared for anything in my life." Right. And, he said that even though Summers was, representing himself, right? He was, that he was helping, this attorney was. And let me tell you what his name is. I know I'm going to say it wrong. I think it's Marchese. Um, I think I'm pronouncing that correct. But so, oh, that thunder. So, Mr. Marchese's like, "I'm not prepared. I've only been on standby. We've had constant battles over, trial strategy, yada, yada, yada." And the judge is like, "Look, I'm done. I've had enough. This case is dragged out. There's been postponement after postponement. We're going to seat this jury." So Monday, they ended up, picking a jury, seating a jury, and the trial started Tuesday. So the trial is going along, right? State's putting on its witnesses. Mr. Marchese is cross-examining them, excuse me. Well, then the state calls Mr. Summers' ex-wife to the stand. Okay. And that's the part I want to show you guys. So let me get over to the YouTubes. And I'm not ignoring anybody coming in. I'll come back and say hi to everybody. I just want to get this queued up and ready to go, so that I'm telling y'all, I'm still discombobulated. Like, I'm discombobulated from the live earlier. Then this case has got me completely discombobulated. I'm all the way discombobulated. Your girl ain't in a good headspace. So we're all just going to be patient with her and push right through it. Okay. All right. Hold on. So let me get over here to the long crime work. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Hold on a sec. Oh my gosh. All right. So we're going to watch this little clip real quick. It's only like 8 minutes. What happened to Molson Man? Hold on. What's Molson Man? Oh, yes. Getting away from Watts Island, only to be brought back. Holy moly, guacamole. All right. All right. Now, y'all brace yourselves because this is crazy. All right. Hang on.
Started right about 8:30. It's 10 o'clock. What was the conservative estimate?
I don't have 10 o'clock, but I have 3 minutes.
Oh, you're right. It's 3 minutes till 10. And I apologize for what I did having the jury stand up, but they appear to be sleeping during the direct. So I wanted to have them stand up. Go ahead and take a 15-minute break. Ma'am, you may step down. Do not discuss your testimony. You will be back on the stand for cross. Yes.
This is the ex-wife.
I have been informed by Mr. Summer
Yes.
that he wishes to discharge me as lead counsel.
Okay.
He wishes to exercise his Sixth Amendment right, to represent himself. And I've explained to him that should he choose to do that he may have to do that throughout the remainder of the trial.
That's absolutely correct.
I was prepared, or started prepared for cross-examination. I had something different. I was told this morning, sir. So I think he wants to address the court now. The bailiff also has issues. We can do this at the break because they have to do other things if he's going to represent himself. But this is where we are right now.
Okay. I appreciate the heads up.
Me too, Amelia.
Talk to Mr. Summers at this point. Mr. Summers, you have a request of the court, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is it?
I would like to resume self-representation and discharge Mr. Marchese as lead counsel.
And you believe that to be a wise decision?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Are you unhappy with the services of Mr. Marchese?
I'm not unhappy with the services of Mr. Marchese. I do not believe that he fully understands the circumstances surrounding the events, and it would be better if I did the cross-examination from here on out.
Hey, Nonstop Mom.
That you're able to continue communicating with him as I have observed you doing throughout the course of the proceedings, to talk to him while he's representing you, to write notes, to ask that during his cross-examinations he come over and confer with you. You realize that those are all options to you while he's representing you, do you?
I do understand that.
We're going to celebrate this comment in the way that it should be and intended.
Stated your reason that you believe that you are more familiar with the facts in order to conduct the cross-examinations. Is that correct?
Yes, and as Mr. Marchese stated earlier in the week, that he truly isn't prepared to do this. We've talked about it back and forth many times. So
let me ask you this, and I just have to
He's
ask you
standing
some questions to
Molson.
make
Hold
sure.
on. Let me pause this real quick.
You
He's
have seen
standing
Mr.
Molson because they were all risen, right? Because they were going to go on a break. So they were standing for the jury. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mr. Marchese starts waving his hands and has to interrupt the judge. And as he's dismissing the witness, which would be Mr. Summers' ex-wife, the victim in this situation, and address this. And so at this moment, the judge is what I can only assume is having an oh shit moment. And it hasn't even occurred to the judge to sit down and brace himself for for what's about to unfold. So here we go.
Marchese make objections based on evidence. You have seen the attorneys discuss things regarding the admission of evidence. That's going to continue. The state's case is not over. This is not their last witness. You feel comfortable being able to address there is additional items of evidence that they intend to introduce? Do you feel comfortable and prepared to be able to address those evidentiary issues as they continue to arise during the course of your trial?
I do, Your Honor. I've requested noticed the same discovery or evidence on my defense as well.
So you don't anticipate any objection to the remainder of the items?
No, Your Honor. I accepted all of the items and requested they be on the defense evidence list too.
You don't even know what you're talking about. Are you out of your head?
Do you understand specifically that I have permitted you? You came into this courtroom pro se. We had several discussions. I ruled on motions while you were representing yourself. You then made a decision that I found to be a wise decision to have a trained attorney represent you. And I allowed you to have representation. To now go back, at some point, there is a line that has to be drawn, and that the courts allow, the appellate courts allow the trial court to draw. It's not a ping pong back and forth, back and forth. So you were originally represented in your case by a variety of attorneys, one of which you hired, or two of which were private attorneys you hired on your own. Then, for whatever reason,
Hillsborough County,
they withdrew,
Molson
and then
Man,
you
which
were
is
represented by the
Tampa.
Public Defender's Office, who ultimately withdrew. And then you had appointed counsel, and I believe Mr. Marchese was the first appointed
Hey,
counsel.
Max.
But you were represented. Then you became unrepresented with under Judge.
Oh, you're
Tucson.
welcome.
I have the date down, April 13th, I think. Is
I
what
low key
remember,
thought about going to
approximately.
this, and then I was
13th.
like, no, I'm not going to be able to
Unrepresented.
behave. I know me.
Then in the beginning of this trial, which was August 22nd, you became represented again. Now on August 24th, if I were to allow it, you would become unrepresented again. So you see what I'm presenting there, a back and forth, represented, unrepresented, represented, now unrepresented.
Hey,
So that's
and
a
5,
total of
6,
4.
7, 8. Good to
And
see
if
you,
I
babe.
tell you that I am not, if I allow it, that I will not allow you to go back, do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. I agree with that.
I'm
Do
also
you
a monster.
also understand that if I do not intend to allow you to go back to representation, there is absolutely no need or reason for standby counsel, and that you are not entitled to standby counsel. So we will not get into a discussion about 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet. If I discharge Mr. Marchese, I will be discharging him not only as your attorney, but as your standby counsel. Do you understand that? Do you want some time to think about that?
May I speak with Mr.
Absolutely.
Marchese about that?
Absolutely.
May I ask you if Mr. Marchese, if he is discharged as both lead and standby, if he would be able to turn everything over to me?
You can ask him that. How about this? How about if we take our break? I'll allow you to continue talking to him. I haven't made a decision whether I'm going to allow you to discharge him, but I am telling you that if I do allow you to discharge him, that I believe that we are at the point where I will not allow you to go back a 5th or 6th time, whatever we're at. So what I want you to be aware of is the absolute totality of the consequences. And if there's no opportunity for you to go back, there's no need for standby counsel. And I'm telling you, I'll discharge him as standby counsel. So there'll be no talking to him whatsoever. As far as him being able to turn stuff over to you, I will allow you to discuss that with him. And then if there's something I need to get involved in when I return from the break, I'm happy to do that with you. But I want you, now that you know that you will not have standby counsel, I want you to reconsider. I want you to talk to him. And I want you to let me know when I come back.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So that's how that's how Wednesday morning's testimony went. And but what I'd like to do is I would like to let you guys listen to his I would like for you to hear the victim on direct, and then we'll go to how this all ended up playing out, because see, I agree with Polly that he did this with the sole intent of harassing his ex-wife, because she has an order of protection against him. And she's been, obviously this was Wednesday, and she's been spoken to about this now. All right. So after the fact, and a little bit before, she was prepared because of the way that he had behaved all throughout the just getting to this point where they're actually at the trial. She was somewhat prepared for the possibility that he may end up being the one who cross-examined her. And I think she was feeling some relief when he ended up deciding Monday, okay, I'll be represented, right? And it's still going to be hard because he's sitting right there, obviously. And this was a horrific ordeal that she went through, according to the complaint, right? And according to the charges. And so the thing is that this is not the first time this has been done. There's other cases, but the one that I can remember the most vividly is Ted Bundy's case, because he did this too. And he had the ability to question his victims. And our justice system is set up in the way that it's set up. And we have our system isn't perfect, but it's the one we have, right? And unfortunately, the truth of the matter is you have the right to face your accuser in court, right? And that sometimes means that victims can be questioned by literally not the perpetrator's attorney, but literally by their perpetrator. And it's not a perfect system, and it's awful. And I do think there should be something in place, but I can't really think of a way to do that without it violating some sort of right to face your accuser. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, but this is just such. Yeah, it's just, yes, Christine, that one too. That one too. It's awful that this is allowed, but I don't really, I can't, I can say that it's awful, but I really can't offer any type of like good solution for it, honestly. So let's see. Hold on a second. Now, what I want to tell you guys is that the victim's testimony is very graphic. And so I want to give you a trigger warning. Hang on just a sec. And be prepared. All right, it's graphic. So it's not very often we actually hear from the victims in the crimes. A lot of times we cover murder trials, and so the victim obviously doesn't get to testify. So all right, hold on. I want to get her at the very beginning. Crap. I'm literally the worst at the skips. Maybe they're skipped too much, even when I do the 5 seconds. All right, I think we're about there. Close enough. All right. You guys are always so patient with me and my technical difficulties. All right, here we go. All right, so brace yourselves. Okay, this is your one and only trigger warning. All right. All right. Let me turn on the
based upon the defense counsel's witness list, that they're going to be
there's no
the
oh wait.
Williams rule evidence. My concern is they're going to be showing Miss Mathewson
There's no
phone records from the
closed
February 18th
captioning.
incident.
Hold on. It's not
My
available.
concern with that is we've
Sorry,
already
you
had a
guys.
Williams rule hearing. Another court and another judge has found this evidence to be reliable enough to be placed before a jury.
And I think she's already testified to it, right?
She's already testified to it. Now that defense counsel wants to cross-examine her and bring out phone records from February 18th, it's making it a feature of the trial, which I understand is not permitted.
So are you suggesting they should not be allowed to cross-examine her on the Williams rule evidence that you presented?
No, I'm not saying that at all, but I want to put on the record that if they are going to be bringing out things regarded or related to the February 18 incident, the state has to rebut that. And the only way to rebut that is to admit more evidence regarding the February 18th incident. And so while the state is doing everything we can to redact and eliminate other things, making the February 18th incident not a feature of the trial, we are going to have to rebut that. So we will be introducing more confessions that he made regarding the February 18th incident, other than what we had already agreed with defense.
Okay, well, first of all, we don't know exactly what they're gonna do. We haven't seen it yet, but I understand you've advised the defense of what your intent is, depending on how much, how little, or if they go into cross-examination regarding items that were covered on direct examination by the state, including the Williams rule evidence that was covered by the state. So it's their decision and trial strategy whether they wanna not cross the witness on that, or if they do cross the witness on that, it is the state's intention to revisit it on redirect to address whatever they did on cross-examination.
That's correct.
And I can only cross that bridge when I'm at it and I see it.
And the only reason I brought it up now is because I don't know how involved it's going to be, and I was just trying to avoid having the jury have to go out again. And that's
Nor
why
do
brought
I,
it to the
nor is
court.
it appropriate to ask him what his cross-examining questions are going to be. So there's no way to know until we get to it and I see it. And then when I'm at that bridge, I will determine how to cross it most appropriately.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, are we ready to bring them in from the state?
Yes.
Are we ready to bring them in from the defense?
Defense can't take the trial.
Let's get the jury.
Yes, let's get the jury. Let's get this show on the road. Maybe I should make it like this. Let me do it like this. But then I feel like I don't want to take a hit for them thinking that I'm trying to cover up their logo. So I'm going to leave it like that. Hey, Mark Klein.
Yes, we are.
Did the attorney get yelled at? No, I think that she is trying to avoid like later BS down the line. And the judge is like, well, we can't ask him what his cross is going to be. That's inappropriate. So yada.
Gentlemen of the jury, good morning. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday.
Oh, he said gentlemen of the
As you
jury.
probably expect was anyone by show of hands exposed to anything about this case outside of the courtroom from the time you left yesterday and the time you returned this morning by show of hands? Let the record reflect there are no hands. Again, thank you very much. We are going to pick up where we left off. I will remind the witness, Ms. Mathewson, that she is still under oath from yesterday and we will continue with the direct examination.
I don't want to. I don't want to play her whole. It's her.
I think
Her
where we left
testimony
off
is hard,
yesterday
and
was we were
it's a
talking
lot.
about the morning of March 13th of 2017.
So
And
I
we
don't-
had discussed that that morning was the first time you had left. You and the defendant had left the area
this is,
of where you had originally arrived.
This is
on
an
the night
awkward-
of March 11th of 2017. Is that correct?
choice of camera view.
And that morning,
There we go.
Where's the first place that you were
Panning,
driven to by the
panning. Up
defendant?
there we go. They're like
And
me
what
if I
happened at
was
McDonald's?
recording.
So before we got into the drive-through line, he told me if I made any motions to anyone, if I tried to escape, that he would slit my throat. So we got into the drive-through. I sat in the front seat. I handed him the money from my wallet and paid for the McDonald's. I looked around to see if there was any opportunity, but I was afraid.
So at this point, on the morning of March 13th of 2017, were you in the mindset or the mindset that you were convincing him that you were going to be getting on this boat with
Yes.
him, and you were not going to do anything to make him not believe that that was in fact your goal?
Yes.
Why
Isn't
was
that interesting,
Because I wanted to
Polly?
stay alive.
At what point had you made that decision prior to this morning that that is what you were going to do this time to maintain his trust?
I made that decision when I regained consciousness with a pillow, and then one opportunity arose at Walgreens, and was my only opportunity to try to get help or get away.
And then shortly after that is when your wrist was cut.
Yes,
And from that point forward, you wanted him to trust you. Is that fair to say?
yes.
May I approach the witness, Judge?
Absolutely.
Ms. Mathewson, I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit R for identification purposes. Do you recognize this disc?
Yes,
And how is it that you recognize it?
those are my initials.
And did you have an opportunity to view this disc prior to trial?
Yes,
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of you and your Saturn vehicle in the passenger seat in the McDonald's drive-thru?
I suppose I
Judge,
can see the
stipulation,
thinking
defense
for
and state
both
have
sides why they
agreed
would
with the
be.
introduction of this video.
I don't
Agreed.
know.
It'll be admitted.
It's
What
an
was the number?
interesting
It's R.
R admitted.
that it's all
Permission
male.
to publish, Judge?
You absolutely may publish it to the jury at this time.
Well, I think so if it were me and I were the state, right? The advantages of having an all male jury would be that often men are typically more critical of other men, whereas women are typically more critical of other women. And so it might be advantageous to have an all male jury with the defendant being a male, and the fact that he, according to the charges, abused his role as a father and the trust that his daughter would have placed in him, which is why she opened the door in the first place and let him in the house. And they might be more critical of that than a female. And for the state and for the defense may think that they would be that an all male jury would be more advantageous because maybe there would be men on the jury who had gone through. I can't imagine what his defense is, to be quite honest with you, but I suppose the thinking would be that maybe there are men that they could seat on the jury who would be sympathetic towards Mr. Summers, and that it was, he was just in a bad place, and it was all a misunderstanding or something. So I can't I didn't listen, which I probably should have, to be fair. I should have listened to the opening statements by the state and the defense, because I can't understand what his can you come clean my kitchen next, Tia? It's clean. I just need it's clean. Can you just straighten up? That's really all I need. Just, just a little quick straighten up. Please. I should have listened, but I just can't. I was so blown away by the fact that this fool stopped. It's not really mid-trial, but the trial's already underway. And he's like, nope, I want to fire my attorney. I want to represent myself. And so I was so just shocked at that's all I could focus on. And I should have, maybe I'll go back. Maybe we'll go back at some point. And because there's another trial that's I'm kind of keeping my eye on too. And it's a lot too. So, all right, here we go. That's what I thought, Polly, but I didn't, how I don't like to say stuff unless I'm for sure. But yeah. Did I say hi to you, Coolest Reviews? If not, hi. If I did, hi 2 times. Hi. Are we going to come on, guys, now? My audience is waiting. We don't have time to be dilly-dallying and filling around with exhibits. Let's get this show on the road. We've all been waiting. It's been 5 years. Come on. Oh, thank you. 5, 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8. I try to behave. Bruh, I have no patience today, you guys. None. I don't even know what my damage is. Here we go. We're going to get IT over here. Oh my gosh. I don't want to touch it because then I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. Let's give it the old 1.25. Oh, Stout, yeah. Leticia. I have to try Coolest Reviews. I can't be wilding out. I mean, I can, but.
And I'll probably just at another time and we can figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a technical Did you try turning it off and turning it back on again? That's literally Spectrum's advice every time there's a technical difficulty. Have you unplugged it, waited 10 seconds, and then plugged it back in?
All right, so Ms. Summers, did you do anything to alert the teller that took your money, the person that gave you your McDonald's food at all? Does the video show you sitting there in the passenger seat? Where's the
Objection.
defendant?
Meeting the witness, anticipating what the evidence would say.
Well, wait till she finishes the question, but go ahead and rephrase it.
Where
Wait
were
to
you-
object till she finishes the question, though.
Where were you seated in the vehicle?
The passenger front seat.
And where was the defendant seated?
In the driver's seat.
And does the video capture your interaction with the defendant?
Yes.
Were you tied up at that time?
Oh, coolest.
Where's the next place that you then go?
It's almost across the street. There's a Citgo gas station.
And at the Citgo gas station, where are you in the vehicle when you arrive there?
I was in the front passenger seat when we arrived.
And where was the defendant?
In the driver's seat.
Is he the one who drove from the McDonald's to the Citgo?
Yes.
And what happened at the Citgo?
Before he even got out of the car, he made me climb through the car and go all the way to the third row.
Did he tell you why he was making you do that?
No.
How many rows did your vehicle have, the
3.
Saturn SUV?
3 rows.
And did you have captain chairs in the middle row or was it a bench seat?
Captain chairs.
So when he told you to get in the third row, did you do that?
Yes.
And where was the vehicle parked at that time?
The first pump closest to the entrance to the Sitco.
Were there other people around at this time?
No, it was early morning.
And at this Sitco, were your hands tied or bound in any way?
No.
What happens once you go to the third row in the Sitco?
He
Third
went,
row of your vehicle once you're out the Sitco.
he went inside the Sitco.
What did you do when he went inside the Sitco?
I remained in the third row.
Was the vehicle locked?
I don't know.
Did you try to leave the vehicle at that time?
No, I did not,
Why is that?
because I was afraid.
At some point, does he return?
Yes.
Does he have anything with him?
Yes.
And what does he have with him?
He has Kodiak wintergreen and a newspaper.
Is that the dip that you were talking about?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, nonstop, Mom.
May I put to the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Judge, by stipulation, defense and state have agreed to State's Exhibit Q, the Sitco video.
Q. All right. Q will be admitted at this time.
May I put to the witness?
You may.
Miss Mathewson, I apologize. Do you recognize this disc?
I do.
I love
How do you
you
recognize
guys. You guys are such a great
And
chat.
is it a fair and accurate copy of the Sitco that you were aware of?
Yes.
That
I
you
like
had
the
stopped
fact
at?
that you're
Now, did you
coping
ever
with
enter
all
the
of this
Sitco,
news
gas
that we
station
just
at any
got
point that morning?
with
Do you
humor because
recall,
that's my
what
coping
the
mechanism. I have to
defendant
make
was wearing
jokes.
That morning.
He was wearing my Ann Taylor shorts.
What color were they?
They were khaki.
Do you recall what color top he was wearing?
Still the black t-shirt.
Why was he wearing Ann Taylor
Yeah, why
shorts?
was he wearing your
Because
shorts?
his jeans and shoes and everything were covered in mud from when we walked on the farm.
And was that what you had described had occurred when you went looking for water on March 12th of 2017?
Correct.
Nonstop, Mom. I can't with you today. You are just, yeah. Where is Allie 79? I'm gonna hit her up. Hold on a second. Let me check on my girl.
Judge, may I have your assistant from your judicial assistant? So,
And look at him over there acting like he's really doing stuff. Out here trying to look like he's lawyering, taking notes. He's got his glasses on. Ugh.
move on, and I'll worry about these discs when we have a break. After the Sitco, is any gas gotten retrieved or anything like that while at the Sitco?
I believe he did.
And I feel like he's doing that.
and
Hold on, let me pause
happens
because
next?
I don't want to interrupt her
He
testimony.
left.
But I feel like he's doing that as an attempt at, because we all know what's fixing to come up next, right? She's going to get, she's going to get off the stand, right? And they're about to go to break, and then he's going to do this bomb, right? And I feel like it is his way of like an ambush. Ugh. All right, here we go.
The Sitco and said, we're going to Anna Maria Island to get the boat. We're going to find this safe house. And as we are coming on to Anna Maria
He
Island,
knows what
we
he's
could
about
see a
to do,
police
bowling with
car
cotton
up
balls.
ahead. And so he pulled
He's
off into
preparing.
one of those pull-off areas where people go fishing.
Hi, Sam.
And he pulled off into that area.
And this is at Anna Maria Island.
Correct. The entrance of Anna Maria Island.
Are you still in the third row, or did you move to a different location in the car at that time?
I was in the third row.
What does anything happen at the location that you pull off?
Oh
at?
wait, maybe this will be
Yes.
better.
What happens at that location?
Oh no, that's not any
He,
better. This is
I
better.
asked if I could go. I had to pee, and we got some water at the McDonald's, so we've been drinking water, and I needed to go pee. He wouldn't let me get out of the car to go pee, so we had orange juice in McDonald's cups that we had drank, and I had pee in McDonald's cup inside the car.
I don't know. I can't remember
Then
what he
he,
did for a living,
this point, I
Max,
moved
but
up to where
he's
there was
up
more
on
room
other
in the second
charges
row,
too.
And then he climbed back to the third row.
Hang on, and I'll tell you
and
what
said,
they
I
are.
think it's best if you stay behind for the children. You can get medical attention, and I am going to leave you everything.
when had you been complaining about your wrist throughout this time since it has?
I was very worried about all the mud and infection, and I needed stitches. It was an open wound. I was very concerned for it.
So when he first says that you should stay, I mean, what were you thinking at that point?
Oh, I was so relieved. I was so thankful. I was so happy. I just said, well, if you think that's best, but I think it's really good for the kids, and that way, you know, it'll just be better for the whole situation all the way around.
And so did you agree with them?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you see that as your opportunity to be free?
Yes.
Okay, stay alive.
Yes.
What was your conversation about? Are you contacting the police? What, I mean,
Yes.
things like that?
So he had said, well, you need to have a story of all of this. I'm going to disappear. Similar to the video that he had made in my home was, I'm going to give you all of this proof that I left you everything and I chose to be gone, to go away.
So you were concerned originally.
He's
when
awaiting
these videos were made on your
hold
iPhone
on a sec.
That people were not going to believe you, that he was going to leave and then.
So at the time of his crime in March of 2017, he was awaiting sentencing for his role in a federal investment fraud scheme in Philadelphia. He still awaits sentencing in that case. So I guess he was some kind of
You were going to be left
fraudulent investor.
Showed that what you were saying had actually happened.
Yes.
So does that conversation happen again? That
Yes.
when he's saying, okay, well maybe you can stay, that you're going to need some kind of proof that he's leaving you everything. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so are you agreeing with everything that he's saying to not make him upset?
Yes.
Is that how your relationship was for the past 16 years? Is that you would agree to not cause conflict?
Yes.
He
And
has
so were you continuing that-
4.5 million in
that
a
as you
bank
continued it for the past
overseas,
16
Mark
years?
Klein.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So what
Wow.
did he say he was going to do to show?
I gotta let the
or to
dog
prove
out,
that
you
he was
guys.
leaving you out?
Behave.
He wrote out a written confession.
Wilson, Sam,
Did you ask him
y'all
to
are
do
in
that?
charge. I'll be in
No.
chat.
So he wrote that out.
Did you see him write
I
it?
did see him write
Did
it.
you read it?
I did.
Did he write anything else?
He wrote a quit claim deed for his home. He wrote some sort of thing for his car, his bank accounts. And then he wrote another letter for the children, and he said it was between him and the kids.
So the letter for the children, did you ever read that letter?
I don't
No.
think so. She
and
already
At the
that
time that you are in this
he was
pull-off
already
in Andrew Island,
convicted of
um,
that crime
did
whenever
write that
this
letter? He
happened,
told you
whenever he
to write that letter.
kidnapped her.
Yes.
Did you see all of the other letters that were written?
Yes.
Did you know whether or not he had owned his Newberry Grove Loop residence?
He told me that he had purchased that home.
May I approach the witness?
Absolutely.
Ms. Chalmers, I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as States Exhibit 4. Various documents titled a quitclaim deed, Bank of America, and a document referencing a Chrysler Pacifica. Have you previously looked at these documents?
Yes.
And do they fair and accurate copy of the letters that you observed the defendant write on the morning of March 13th of 2017?
Yes.
States Exhibit 3. You never read the letter that morning that he made to the children. Is that correct?
Correct.
But do you recognize the handwriting in States Exhibit 3?
Yes.
And whose handwriting do you recognize that to be?
That is Trevor Summers.
I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson, I don't see a 3. I thought we've been
S3.
using that. Oh, I'm sorry.
S3.
Yes.
I apologize.
That's not a problem.
States Exhibit S2. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Have you previously reviewed it?
Yes.
And is it a fair and accurate copy of the confession letter that you observed the morning of March 13th of 2017?
Yes.
And States Exhibit S1, surrender of parental rights. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is it a fair and accurate copy of the document that you reviewed regarding the custody of the children on the morning of March 13th of 2017?
Correct.
State offers and evidence states S1, S2, S3, and S4 at this time.
Any objection? No legal objection. States S1, S2, S3, and S4 will be admitted at this time.
And Ms. Summers, the handwriting that is encompassed within all of these exhibits. Do you recognize that handwriting?
As Trevor Summers.
And you had known him for 16 years?
Yes.
Was familiar with his handwriting?
Yes.
And you watched him write these letters, is that correct?
Yes.
At some point, do you move from that location?
Yes. The police officer moved, and that's when then he told me, okay, well, now the new plan is you help me find the safe house. We need to look for a green and yellow flag. And we drove around Anna Maria Island, and I looked all around for this yellow and green flag, because once I found this yellow and green flag, then he was going to go onto a boat, and I was going to be able to live my life.
And it sounds kind of funny or kind of crazy. I mean, that he's-
Objection.
Comments.
Rephrase. Sustain, rephrase.
so in your response there, you kind of were acting sarcastic about looking for this yellow and green flag. Why is that?
Because I really was kind of excited that now he's going to leave me behind to be with the kids, and then more events happened that made me realize that was never the case.
Is it, looking back on it now, do you feel naive that you believe those things as to after what happened?
Yes.
So did you ever find this flag?
No.
So do you then leave Anna Marie Island?
Yes.
And where is it that you were driven?
So he stayed off the highway, drove up Route 41, came to Shell Point Road in Ruskin, and turned. Now we're back in Hillsborough County, and he turns left and goes down into the Little Harbor Resort area.
And what happens there when his car stops?
He pulled up behind where Hook's restaurant is. There's a dumpster, and he pulled up behind this dumpster, and I'm in the third row. The whole drive up to Little Harbor, he had me laid down in the third row, and he.
So I think you had previously stated you had moved into the second row
Correct.
when he was in the third row writing the letters.
Correct.
So when did you move into the third row?
When we were leaving Anna Maria Island, he told me to lay down in the third row so nobody would see me.
And so did you know what was the purpose of going to Little Harbor and Ruskin?
He knew exactly where the safe house was that was located in Little Harbor.
And the safe house, what was going to happen with the safe house?
He was going to get like an undocumented boat charter that he wouldn't need to have any kind of show any proof to go leave the country, like no passport or anything.
And so what happens when he arrives at the Little Harbor, at this dumpster area near the Hook's restaurant?
So he gets he climbs through the car from the driver's seat and said, move to the captain's chair in the second row. I forgot a letter that I need to write to my parents.
Did you make a statement at that time?
I made this statement. I don't understand why you'd write them a letter. They're going to be in trouble for all of this too.
And why did you make that comment?
Because of him telling me about their involvement, them coming to the home, knowing there was a protective order, not coming to check to make sure I was okay, not notifying the police, taking the children.
Taking the children on the early morning hours of March 11th?
Correct.
Because that was your belief all the time, is that they had taken the children from
Yes.
your home. Is that correct?
Yes.
What happens when you make that statement?
He got very angry. He had tied me to the captain's chair, and he had tied the rope around my arm here, knotted up this, ran the rope around through the back of the chair, basically tied me to the chair, looped through on this arm, the injured arm, and then it came back around. So
Did you know why he was tying you up at that time?
no, he tied me. So I was laying, when we got there, he moved me to the second row. He tied me to the chair. And because of the position of how he tied me, my hands are like this because of the pull of the rope pulling my hands back. So I'm in this position.
Was this immediately after you had made that statement about his parents?
I was tied in this position when I made this statement about his parents.
Okay. How did you get then? Because we skipped a point. How did you get from being in that middle seat, him moving to the third row, and he's going to write a letter to his parents? At what point were you tied up?
So when he had me moved to the captain's chair in the second row, and he went back to the third row, that is when he tied me in that position. And then he said, I forgot I need to write another letter.
When you were tied up in that chair, did you have any idea that this note that he had written to the kids that said were between him and the kids, did you have any idea what was in that note?
No idea.
When did you ask him why he was tying you up? If he was going to let you leave and he was going to find a safe house, what was the purpose of tying you up? Did he say anything like that?
No,
Did you question him about it?
no.
Did you know how this was going to happen? He's writing these notes and he's going to let you go be with the kids. Was there discussion about what the next steps were going to be, that how you were going to be let go, basically?
It was he had to get out to international water before I could be released.
So you are tied to the
Okay, I'm
middle chair
back.
in your captain chair in your vehicle,
Yes.
and you make that statement.
Yes.
And what happens after that?
Rope came from behind me over my head, and because of the position of my hands, I grabbed my hands and he pulled the rope back and started strangling me.
So the way you were positioned, can you show us the way you were positioned when you were tied in the chair before he makes contact with your body?
It was my arm tied here, running the rope round through the chair, looping and going back. And
So
so
show me how you were positioned in the chair.
just like this chair, and my hands are kind of right here.
So your hands are cupped at your the top of your chest underneath your chin. Is that correct?
Correct.
And at some point you stated that you feel the rope where?
It came very quickly over my head, and it just luckily grabbed my hand. My hand was right there.
And where was the defendant at this time?
He was in the third row. He was directly behind me.
Could you see him when you were in the captain's chair?
No.
And could you feel his body near you?
Yes, I could feel the force with full force pulling at the rope.
It's
Okay.
funny you say
Did
that,
he say
Molson man,
anything to you
because I
before
dropped
that?
my phone and almost timed out 3 of you guys.
What were you doing at this point?
I mean, I just was fighting.
Oh,
Luckily, my hand was there,
Molson
I
and
was just
Amelia.
as much as I could, fighting to try to get the rope off from around my neck.
Did the rope touch your neck?
Yes.
Where did it touch your neck?
So it didn't touch right here because my hand was here, but it all up through on the sides.
On the sides of your neck.
Yes.
Alice is in the living room
Did
pouting.
you have problems to breathe when that was happening?
I mean, it was difficult to breathe, but also I'm struggling full force, so it could be either reason.
Okay. So you were fighting back at this time.
You might not hear from
Um,
me tomorrow. I'm just letting you know.
What happens next?
Suddenly stopped and dove into the driver's seat, just through the whole car. over
Yeah,
and
that
just
kind of
got into the
surprised
driver's
me
seat
too,
and
Polly. Like,
peeled
he had a
out of
whole
there.
plan.
And I start gasping for air, and I'm like, what is going on? And I look back and I see a black pickup truck behind us.
You said it like, what is going on? Like you say this like in a calm manner. That's how you said it. Is that how you were acting at that moment?
No.
Okay. Can you describe how you were behaving?
I was in a panic. I was in an absolute panic. It had been calm through the days of me complying, and the hours of me complying, and now it is just complete chaos. And I am frantic.
Does he say anything when he dove into the front driver's seat?
He didn't until he pulled underneath a house on stilts. A house. It was
How far did he drive from the location near the hooks to this house with stilts that you're describing?
It was probably like 3 blocks. You pull out of Little Harbor Resort, you turn right, you're on the main road, Shell Point Road, and it kind of curves around. And then there's houses that kind of face out to the Gulf, and they have boats.
I don't know
At
what
the
I don't know.
location
I
where
don't
you
know,
were strangling
Coolest.
that
But
was
if
the
you don't
original
hear
plan,
from me,
yes.
I would just definitely
So
be looking
he
into
drives
Alice.
approximately 3 blocks. You said he peeled out of there. He
She's
drives
mad
quickly to
because
this
I wouldn't
house
let her
with stilts.
outside.
Did you know this person that lived there?
No.
Did he tell you why he was going to this house?
He told me that was the safe house.
And so what happens when he arrives at this safe house? Are you still in the captain's chair?
I'm tied to the captain's chair.
And what happens next?
He pulls underneath the house, and he moves from the driver's seat over to the passenger seat. So he's sitting catty corner to me, looking.
I
right
do
at
the
me.
same, Polly. I
and
like
he
to wait
says,
until the
"There's an
very
unmarked
end, and I
police
keep an
car
open mind
right
throughout
there."
the whole
And
thing. But
at
this is
this
not.
point,
This
Could
is
you
not
see the vehicle
that.
that he's
I did it. It
referring
looked
to?
like an older Chevy Malibu, and so I didn't believe him. And he began slitting his throat and saying, "This is what love is. I'm laying my life down for you. You don't deserve this."
What did you do when he was doing that?
I was screaming. It was
Yeah,
very
it is just yeah.
traumatic, and the blood and the whole thing was traumatic.
What did he use to cut his neck?
The razor blade.
Was that the same razor blade that was used on your wrist?
Yes.
What's the next thing that, did you tell him to stop doing that, or were you encouraging him to
No,
slit his throat?
I said, "Stop, please stop, please."
Did you ever tell him he should commit suicide?
No.
What's the next thing that happened?
With his neck slit and open, he leaned backwards in the seat with the razor blade at me, and he said, let me cut those ropes off of you. And I took, because it was just looped on my injured arm, it wasn't tied to it. I was able to pull my arm out of the loop, and I had my hands like this. And I said, look, I'm out. You don't have to cut the ropes off. And at this point, law enforcement surrounded the vehicle. My door opened. I was grabbed and taken out.
And did you see what happened with him in the vehicle when law enforcement got you out of the vehicle?
I did not.
You're right,
What is going
Vincent's
through your
missing
head when
here.
law
I have to,
enforcement pulls you out of that
that's why I'm always
I-
vigilant.
I was in
I feel
complete
awful
shock.
for her.
I can't believe that I'm alive. This is, and yeah, so I asked if my parents knew what happened. So, yeah.
So you had asked if you're
Okay,
you had
cool.
asked-
Let's reviews.
Did you know where the kids were at this point or anything like that? Did you question the police about that?
I did. Once we got to the police
But if you-
station, I said, where are my children? They said they're with deputies. Children were fine.
At what point, for how long do you
when,
expect to be out there? And
you
if
get
it
taken out
goes
of the
longer than
vehicle,
that, at
where
what
are
point
you
should I
taken to?
panic and send a
I'm
search
taken
crew?
to a South Shore Sheriff's Office, which is down right next to the Big Lots in Bruskin.
Is that a district office for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office?
It is.
I think, Sam, I think that she, well, she did try to escape.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Hold on a sec. Let me push pause before you approach the
Matheson.
witness. So Sam, what had happened was before this came to an end, like right before that, he had stopped at Walgreens and she had tried to escape then. And he got her and he put her back in the car, and there were witnesses at the Walgreens, which is who alerted the sheriff's department. And that's when the sheriff's department became involved, and then they were spotted, and that's who was following them throughout this last portion of it, I believe. And so I think what she was doing is biding her time and trying to survive. You know what I mean? Okay, here we go.
And I'm showing you photographs from the defendant's vehicle. And I know you had testified that you had not seen the vehicle. He'd only told
I'm
you he
so
had purchased
sorry.
it in
And
India.
5, 6,
But I want
7,
to show
8.
you State's Exhibit
That's hard.
J23. Do you recognize that phone in that photograph?
Yes.
And State's 24
Yes.
and State's 25,
Yes.
J25.
Yes.
Whose phone do you recognize that to be?
That is my old Samsung phone that I replaced 2 weeks prior with the iPhone.
Where was the last time you had seen that phone on the night of March 10th of 2017?
She
We were
is.
struggling in the living room, and I had
She
dialed
is lucky to be
911
alive.
from that phone in the struggle that happened between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Yes.
Ms. Matheson, I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit P1 through 50 for identification purposes. Do you recognize these photographs, and have you previously viewed these photographs?
Yes, I have.
And do they fairly and accurately depict your vehicle in the days between March 11th and March 13th of 2017?
Yes, sir.
State offers an evidence states P1 through 50 at this time.
Any objection?
No, sir.
States P1 through 50 be admitted.
Publishing permission to publish, Judge. Publishing P1.
So this was 5 years ago. I think that
Is this the front of your Saturn vehicle? Your Saturn SUV?
I think
And
the
what color
daughter
was
was
it?
13
Baby
at the time, so she's 18 now, I think. 17 or 18 now. She testified
P8.
as well.
Is your license plate number?
Yes.
At coolest reviews, I'm going
And
to
P10. Does this
say
include your VIN information.
4
from your
hours
vehicle?
max.
Yes. States P11. Are we looking at the inside of the driver's seat?
Manipulation is very
And,
is
um,
I think almost sometimes in a lot of ways
recognize
can be
those shoes
harder
in that
than
photograph?
actual
Yes, those are my flip flops.
physical,
And there
but
appears to be
emotional manipulation. Yeah.
underneath that driver's seat.
Yes.
And is one of the drinks a Dasani water and what appears to be a McDonald's drink?
Yes.
P14. Is
See, I
this,
was thinking
McDonald's
8
receipt
hours
from the
is
Monday or
generally
from
how
the
long
morning of
people
March
sleep,
13th,
and it's easier to
2017?
get through
Yes.
things when you're
And
sleeping.
does,
So,
you recall if you were there approximately 6:49
being
p.m.?
awake,
Yes.
I'm going to go 3-4 hours. Yeah, that's how I calculated it.
P16, directing your attention to the armrest that appears to have some kind of red substance. Do you know what, where that red substance came from?
That is Trevor Summers' blood.
Okay, so let's get to
Is that from when he cut his wrist? Or
where
neck, I apologize.
Yes.
where he cross-examines her.
Conduct the discussions in open court. But we will excuse the jury each time if there's a need to approach. But I will listen to the basis for the objections and I will make a ruling. And then if you wish to approach, then we can address that at that time. There was one other thing I wanted to.
So he ends up letting.
From reading, so rephrase the question.
Okay. Do you know long? Do you know how long?
Hold
I
on
was
a
at the
sec.
house until you woke up?
I woke up.
She can only
Get the picture to refresh.
So the judge ends up allowing him
Okay.
to
Um,
represent himself,
Do
and I want to get to that part
you remember?
because we're already like
Was
an
it
hour
Allow a
into
little
this
bit of
live, and it's a school night.
Day.
I don't. How I ended up going too far, I have no freaking idea. It's way too far. So let's
I'd
just
like to
see.
just
All right.
Record is clear. Not only do I find that his decision is unequivocal, his request, but it is a knowing and voluntary decision that he has made to represent himself. So the record is clear. Let's get the jury. I
Oh,
told them yesterday, but I'll tell them when they
I
come
didn't
in.
know that,
apologize for
Reviews.
the
I'm
longer
sorry.
break. We're going to take a short lunch break, and as they may recall from yesterday, we most likely are going to be going late tonight. I will ask
I
them if
didn't
any
know
of them
that.
had an issue with that.
I don't have school, but my daughter has school, and I've been trying really hard to like keep to like a work schedule because while we're waiting for all this to start again, Samantha has a YouTube channel, and she does readings and meditation. She does all kinds of spiritual heal. She's just wonderful. And yesterday, I'm going to put her link in the chat. But yesterday, she did a angel card reading, and I was in there, and she pulled one for me, and she basically said that well, she didn't say the angel card. The way that it translated was basically that I need to quit monkeying around and like stop being so lackadaisical about things, and push myself and work a little and work harder. And so I'm trying to do that and keeping myself like on an actual work schedule so I can get content out for you guys, because I'm behind on videos that I promised you, lives that I promised you, and you guys are always so patient and understanding with me, and I appreciate that so much. So I've been trying to like stick to all of that, and
Jury's present and seated. Everyone else may be seated at this time. Gentlemen of the
I'm going to
jury,
give you
welcome back.
Sam's
First thing is
link.
that I apologize for the 15-minute break actually being more like a 45-minute break. I have a instruction I'm going to read to you in just a moment, which may explain some of that. You also
You guys
were
go
asked
over
about
there and
lunch
give
orders. We're
her
going to take a shorter break
a sub
today,
and check
so
her
to make up
out. She
some of that
does.
time. And
She's
yesterday,
her
before I
channel
get
is
started,
really
I asked you all
wonderful.
to
Guys
check
will
and
really
see
like
if
it.
you would all be available if we went later tonight. So I want to ask at this
She
time,
is
there
super
anybody who
talented.
has
She has a
a
great
commitment
gift
tonight that would prevent
and the
us
best
from
kind of
going
heart.
late past 5 o'clock tonight? Excellent. Let the record reflect there are no hands. All right. So I have an instruction for you before we proceed. Mr. Trevor Summers has the right to be represented by an attorney or to represent himself in this trial, as do all criminal defendants in this country. He, Mr. Summers, has now exercised his constitutional right to act as his own attorney. This decision,
I don't know
will
how
not
they're
affect
gonna
your
do it.
consideration of
Bowling with
this
cotton
case.
balls. This is the
Now,
part I
you may
haven't
recall the
seen.
state before the break had finished their questioning, but there was some evidence that was introduced that they were unable to publish. They have requested to publish that evidence now before we turn to cross-examination. So I'm going to allow the state to publish whatever evidence that was introduced in direct that you were unable to publish at that
Let
time.
me
Just cross
do
that
this better.
Please.
At this time, I'll be publishing the McDonald's video first.
Let's just put the exhibit number on the record. I apologize for not knowing what that is.
It is exhibit number or letter R.
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 There we go. That's better. Let me put it like this. Thank you, Sam. See, Sam, you're welcome, babe. You guys, I mean, she really does. I've seen coolest reviews over there. I've seen, I think I've seen Cement Shoes over there a few times. You guys should all, I mean, she really does really, she has she has a gift. She's an amazing gift. And she knows exactly when yours truly needs to be pushed. And she does it in the best possible way. I'm forever grateful. Oh no, we don't want a staghorn calculi upon the. Well, that's bad. Probably I don't know who he's making. I don't want to judge. Probably him though. Or maybe the jury. I don't know. See, this is why I don't like to. I'm not good at skipping. This is all the This is all the footage from.
On this,
This is him at the gas station. He doesn't even have shoes on. You see, this is how Florida rolls, y'all. They will let you come in places. They don't have a note. Well, I'm sure some places do have a no shirt, no shoes
Mr.
policy.
Summers, cross-examination.
All right, now we're there. Sorry, you guys. Hey, Mrs. O, good to see you. And thank you guys for subbing to Sam. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You guys will not be disappointed. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be M5678. I want you guys to brace yourselves. This one is also very
That microphone,
difficult.
though, I don't know if it can be readjusted where
So
it can
trigger warning.
amplify your voice.
Is that better? Okay. Good morning, Ms. Matheson. I wanted to review the testimony that you gave here today. Excuse me.
There you go.
I'd like to
Okay.
just go through your testimony from the beginning. Starting with the evening of Friday, March 10th, 2017, your statement was that you went to Trevor's neighborhood to pick up the children, Arden, Bryn, and Grady that evening. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was at approximately what time?
Dinner time.
Was it still light out?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know approximately how far the community center is from Mr. Summers' house?
It's in the same community.
Okay. So you came to the same community 3 weeks after the alleged March incident?
Yes.
Prior to
Yes, Amelia, she is. She will not look
March
at him.
2017, that week, were you sick at all?
Yes.
Objection, Judge Relevance.
I'm gonna allow a little bit of leeway. Let's see where it's going. What's the next question?
Let's go to the evening where I arrived. You've seen the estate's evidence in the videos and the photographs, as you've attested to them. Do you remember seeing a video of your neighbor's camera from their house, the evening video from 1418 New Bloom Road?
I was never shown that video.
Do you remember approximately what time I arrived here?
I was asleep.
Do you recall which window I came in?
I was asleep.
Could you tell us if there were any doors on your house other than the front door?
No exterior doors other than the front door, the door leading to the garage, but no other doors.
Okay. Do you remember what was in your backyard?
A swing set.
Do you remember how that swing set got there?
Objection, Judge Relevance.
Sustain.
Did your children use that swing set?
Yes.
Objection, Judge Relevance.
Sustain.
Did the children ever utilize the windows to go into the backyard?
Not that I'm aware of.
When you looked at the photos of the windows on the side of the house and on the back of the house, did you notice excess dirt in those? Would you like me to get the picture to refresh?
No.
Okay. Do you recall from any police reports or any of the evidence that you've seen how long I was at your house before you were awakened?
Judge, I'm going to object. She can only testify to what she is aware of, not what she read in a police report.
The witness can only testify to her own personal knowledge, not what she obtained from reading. So rephrase the question.
No, he's
Do you know-
representing
do you know how
himself,
long I was at
Mrs.
the
O.
house until you were woken?
I woke up at 3 a.m.
You woke up at 3 a.m. and you said that you were woken by water droplets.
Yes.
Okay. So that was the first moment you were woken up by water droplets.
Yes.
Okay. And you said it was dark in your room.
Yes.
How dark was it?
Only light was coming from my digital clock. Very dark.
Was that enough light to see a figure standing in a certain position in your room?
Yes.
And when you say that
I
You
know, Mrs. O.
startled awake, do you know? I'm sorry, let me change that. You said then that your feet were grabbed.
Yes.
Is it one ankle, two ankles?
I don't recall.
Did you recall me saying anything about calm down, it's just me?
Yes.
Do you recall if you threw any other items?
No.
Do you recall how those items got neatly placed back on a table in a vanity?
Ugh, the way
Do
he
you
says
recall
our
other
table,
items
our
that
dining
were on
room.
the end tables?
No.
Your Honor, may I publish some of the state's exhibits?
Absolutely.
I'd like to use state exhibit A, set 1.
A set 1.
The only reasoning that I can come up with for him doing this is that he wants to prolong what he already did to her.
Let's start from here.
He doesn't, I don't think he
Actually,
thinks
you
that
can
he's
push something
going to be
to turn it
acquitted
to
or
the,
anything.
Camera. There's a button on there. I don't know, Deputy Stan, do you know what button that is to change it from the computer to the document camera? It's on the screen, I believe. Shannon, do you know what?
I'm hard.
I will we'll do that. It's above my pay grade.
Thank
And if you want to, and focus. Sorry.
Let's start back with this picture here. believe it was your testimony
Judge, we'll
that,
need to know for the record which photograph it is.
Yes, absolutely. Identified. It should be on the back.
yes, Your Honor. This is photograph set 1A10.
Thank you.
May I publish?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, just to put her through it all
Um,
again. I don't think he know. I
I
don't
believe your
think he
testimony was
really
that,
thinks he's
um,
going to win.
The screen was not there prior to my arrival.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Do you believe that you put that screen there?
No.
Do you believe? So you don't know who put that screen there?
No.
Okay. This is picture set 1A14. May I publish?
You may.
Is that an accurate picture of the playground in the backyard?
Yes.
And did the children use that frequently?
Yes.
And you would agree that that playground and that window are directly behind the children's playroom?
Yes.
I'm at photo A21.
That's
set
exactly what I thought of,
Uh-huh.
Mrs. O. Absolutely.
one. And you said this is the living room?
Yes.
And on the evening that the children were there, do you recall where you, Brandon, Grady, and Arden were sitting?
At what point?
On the evening of March 10th when they were with you?
We were sleeping in master bedroom, me, Brandon, and Grady.
Sorry, let me clarify for you. On the evening of March 10th when the children were with you in the living room, can you tell me where everyone was sitting?
I was in the middle on the closest couch. I was in the middle of Brandon Grady, and Arden was on the love seat.
Okay. Is that the same love seat that Arden went to sleep on that night?
I don't know. I was in bed asleep. I don't know which couch she slept on.
Okay. Photo 823 set one. May I publish?
Yeah.
You see that one very well. Can you tell me what is on that desk against the wall?
A computer,
Anything else?
a sweater, papers.
Did that computer have internet service?
Yes,
Is there any kind of internet feed or cable feed on that wall?
I do.
What is the
Not that
point
I
of
know.
this? Come on.
Not that you know.
It was Wi-Fi.
Photograph 822 set one. May I publish?
Yes.
In this photograph, do you see any cable or internet feed or router?
The router over in the left corner.
Okay. And do you know if you can hook a telephone to that router?
That's not where I hooked my telephone.
I'm not asking where. I'm just asking if you can.
You can.
I mean, the house is very modest looking at that. You would never,
Photograph 821.
just
825
FYI,
set one.
Alice
May I
has entered the chat. She's standing on the desk. I'm running this whole stream around her.
Miss Mathewson, in this photograph is a picture of is it the garage door,
Yes.
the front door?
Front door.
Is the key hook there?
Yes.
It's a hook, I guess, a placard. You know
Ow.
what keys hang on?
Yes.
Do you know what key is still hanging on that hook?
Objection relevant?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, we'll see if we can find a better photograph of that. The walls look pretty clean and intact.
Yes.
Would you agree that in the previous photos that the walls also were clean? There's no dents, no scratches, no marks.
Alice, you continue to be a chat favorite, ma'am. I hope that makes you happy, even though you seem content on beating up the blanket at this time.
Photograph A32, set one. May I publish?
She is so charming.
Mrs. Mathewson, is this a picture of your garage?
Yes.
Is this the condition it was in?
I can't
left
figure
home
out
that
what
evening when
he's
you
trying
went
to
to
do,
Yes.
Polly, other
And,
than
Can you identify some of the things that are in the garage here?
prolong the
Bins and
questioning.
boxes and things that I haven't put away in my
Because this is
home or
I
storage.
guess. I don't know what he's doing. Like she's saying, like he's saying it's messy. You're right, Sam. You can't see Mrs.
Photograph
O?
A35 set one, may I publish?
Yes.
Mrs. O, can you see?
And
And 5, 6,
Ms. Matheson,
7,
you said
8.
that your testimony is this was a toolkit that you had kept, and this was in the same location as it was when you went to sleep that night?
As far
She's
as I'm
over on
aware,
the bed.
it
I
was
will
normally
when she
kept in that
comes
general
back.
area.
I'll turn the camera. I look a
Wash
mess,
those
you guys. I'm
towels,
telling
shower,
you right now.
all of
Messy
those.
bun and.
Okay.
Ugh. But if she comes back over here, I will show you. I will show you Alice.
Photograph A37 set one, may I publish?
Yes.
Ms. Matheson, what is this a photograph of?
That's my kitchen.
Oh, that's a good
It's your
point
kitchen.
too. Bowling with
Do
cotton
you see anything
balls.
out of order, out of place?
No,
What
Do
is
you
your?
have any struggle in the kitchen?
no.
Did you go into the kitchen at all?
The very entrance of the kitchen to try to get to the phone that is normally right there, right where that tea thing is. It's normally hanging on the wall right in front of that.
Did you have any tea that night?
I don't recall.
Is the tea usually just sitting on the counter?
I would say normally no.
Thank you.
What is your point, sir?
Photograph A36 set one. may I publish?
Coolest.
Yeah, and actually, Mr. Jones, you don't have to ask to publish each one. Just identify which one you're publishing, and you can publish it right after you identify what it is.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Matheson, is this another picture of you into the kitchen?
Yes.
And those things sitting on the countertop there, are they in the same place that they were when you left that evening? When you went to sleep that evening?
I believe so.
Okay. They're not disorganized or thrown around or anything like that?
No.
Is he trying to
Do you have any
argue there
struggle
was no
Near
struggle?
this location?
Near that location.
My
Thank you.
goodness.
Publishing A40 set one.
That looks like
Ms. Matheson, can you tell us what this is a photograph of?
this is my hallway.
Okay. What is the first door on the right?
I don't live in this home anymore. I believe that's a closet.
What is at the end of the hallway?
On the end of the hallway, there's a mirror. The left side is the master bedroom, and on the right side is a small hallway.
Okay. And so, in your testimony, you said that you were brought down this hallway,
Yes.
and you said that was by your ankles.
Oh, that's
And
an
at the same time, you're
excellent
kicking-
point. Thank you,
Yeah, being held by
Max.
your ankles.
Yes.
Do you notice any claw marks on the walls?
It
or
does
just
look a little bit Silent
lines
Hill
on the
1,
carpet?
coolest reviews.
Anything
I
to
was
indicate
thinking,
that kind of struggle?
this is familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. Nailed it. Yep.
Publishing A44 set one. Ms. Matheson, this is a photograph of the master bedroom, correct?
Yes.
Okay. As you can see, the tissue box is neatly placed on the end table. Would you agree?
Yes.
There are hangers on the bed. Do you know what those hangers are for?
I don't recall.
The pajamas on the bed, those are the pajamas you had on before you changed.
I like Silent Hill too. Also, coolest reviews.
I can't tell from this picture.
It is a gray piece of fabric and a pink piece of fabric.
It could be.
Okay. Do you believe you would have gotten changed on that side of the bed?
Possibly.
Do you sleep on the right side of the bed?
I would normally sleep by where the tissues are.
Yes, on the right side of the bed.
Yes.
Okay. Um,
Really,
You also
Mark?
see
That's
two spots
interesting.
on top of the.
Let me highlight your
Touch
comments
cabinet?
so people
Yes.
can
Okay.
watch in the
And you see
replay
one
and know what
scarf
I'm
on the
talking
floor?
about.
Yes.
And
Interesting.
you see a
Huh.
belt to an outfit that you have.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I think we're all just kind of grossed out because he's the,
Publishing A45. set one.
alleged perpetrator and she's the victim, and it's just weird. You know what I mean? Uncomfortable for everybody.
Mrs. Mathewson.
Good
can you tell me
night,
what the
Sam.
contents of
Thank you
that
for being here,
laundry
babe.
basket are?
Sweet dreams.
There's a pink sheet, there's some clothes, possibly, I can't really tell, maybe a towel.
Is that the pink sheet that you say you were wrapped in?
Yes.
So would you be able to explain why it's underneath the other clothes?
I cannot.
No,
Publishing A47, set one.
I've never unsubbed from you. Coolest reviews. I'm at Silent Hill also, not the
Mrs.
number
Matheson,
2.
Is, this photograph inside your master bedroom?
Yes.
I like Silent Hill
Do you see
also.
the variety of
Number
items,
1.
In and around this piece of furniture?
Yes.
Do you see a large cord or a wire underneath of that?
Yes.
Did Mr. Summers or do myself?
I would never unsub from you, Coolest.
anyone
You're so
fun?
silly.
No.
Do you see any cords on top of that cabinet?
There's a variety of things on top of the cabinet, but no.
Do you see? Is this normally how this piece of furniture looks? You have a variety of things sitting on top of it.
Not normally.
Okay. Can you tell me how these things got there or arranged this way?
No, they just happen to be there.
This was this way before you went to bed?
I can't recall.
Publishing A48, set one. Mrs. Matheson, this is the right side of the bed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You see a variety of articles on the bedside table.
Yes.
Did you attempt to throw any of those items?
No.
Are they all kind of in order?
The lower shelves, no, did not touch any of the things on the lower shelf. The side table, yes, those were used throughout the March 11th and used them to throw the box of tissues. So yes.
Okay. Is anything out of order on this table?
Ah,
Different than when I went to
interesting.
sleep.
Mark,
It is different than what you
interesting.
The top of the table is different than when I went to sleep.
What's different about the top of the table?
My water cup is not on the side table that I sleep with every single night. The box of tissues is not where it normally is. It's normally against the wall behind the clock.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Publishing A51, set one. Mrs. Matheson, is this a better angle for you to see the top of that dresser?
Yes.
Can you remember if this is the way things were before you went to sleep?
I don't recall.
Okay. Publishing A52, set one. Okay. This Matheson, this is a photograph of which bathroom?
The master bathroom.
And that blue cup is the one that you threw across the room.
Yes.
That blue cup is now sitting nicely on vanity.
Yes.
Did you put it there?
I don't recall who put it there.
Did you use it while I was there with you?
I don't recall.
You don't recall? Okay. Publishing A53, set one.
Really? Coolest reviews? I'm sorry. Yeah, but I would never
This Matheson,
unsub from
this
you.
Is, the vanity in that
I
bathroom.
love your
It's the bathroom you use
videos.
every day.
I just don't always
Is there anything
comment.
missing
Sometimes I
from
forget
this
to
vanity?
comment, and I need to get better
I couldn't
about
tell you
that.
what is missing.
Do you usually have cosmetic items? Other cosmetic items?
Well, he's asking questions about
Hey,
items that
Allie,
need
how you
addition
doing,
to
babe?
evidence, So
How you
I'll allow
doing?
that question.
Yes.
Do you notice any
Let me
of the
check.
cosmetics missing?
Let
from
me
this?
look.
Yes.
Do I need to charge my
Can you tell me
phone?
which cosmetics were missing?
I cannot tell. I don't have knowledge of what cosmetics I used 5.5 years ago.
How about your toothbrush?
My toothbrush is not there. Maybe off to the side, but my toothbrush is not there.
Okay. Um,
I bet you're tired. We were all we were talking before this started about just I wasn't ready
Publishing
for the kidney
856
story,
seconds.
Allie. I'm not even, I mean, I can't even front. Like, I was done at that point. I was just like, what?
Can you tell me what?
I wasn't
That
ready.
is the master closet.
Okay. Can you identify anything in that photograph for us?
Identify a bunch of stuff on the floor. Piles of clothes, random things. I can't tell you exactly what everything is.
Publishing A58, set 1. So a little better close up.
Okay.
Can you tell me what else you see? Can you identify any other things in this photograph?
I had to make jokes, Allie. It was too much. I couldn't take
See
it.
any belts?
At this time, I can't see. Oh, I see some belts under the clothes.
Is this location here? Do you see any scarves?
I don't see scarves in this picture.
Anything in this bag? A bunch of scarves?
Those look like nylons.
Nylons?
That's pantyhose.
You can zoom in a little bit.
Hey, Alex, was that your cat that was meowing
I do not see
on the
scarves.
live?
I
Because
see
my cats
socks
were
and
looking all
pantyhose.
around for the
And
cat.
this one here?
Socks and pantyhose is what I see.
Oh,
Thank you.
tell him. That's right. Don't let him. That's right, girl. Yeah, I'm not. I don't mind confrontation, but it's not my favorite thing to do ever. No.
Publishing A67, set 1. Mrs. Matheson, what bedroom is this?
This is the kid's bedroom?
You said this is how it looked before you went to sleep, correct?
Yes.
And the pink sheet that you saw in the laundry basket, is that the same from the same set that is on that bed there?
I have 2 sets of pink sheets, one for the master and one for this bed. I don't know which one.
Okay. Thank you.
I just wanted. I'm not making comment one way or another, but this is a lot of the
Publishing
reason why I
A73,
keep
is
my
that one?
house the way I keep it, because I always think, God forbid, what if something happened
Ms. Matheson, this is a photograph
and they
of the
came in
picture.
and started taking
playroom?
pictures.
And does it look this
And
way?
then you guys
one
on
way
the
or look this
YouTubes
way
would
before
be
you
out
sleep
here
that
like,
night?
we know
Let's
that
look that way
girl.
now to see.
She had like 3
so there was
friends,
a
and
Clear
look,
path then right in front of the window.
she wasn't a good housekeeper. You know what I mean? Who needs that? I'm the victim of a crime and I'm getting judged for my housekeeping. Don't need
Pushing
it.
A75, set 1. Ms. Matheson, if you look at that windowsill, do you see the staining on it, the dirt on it?
Okay. I see a windowsill, but I can't tell what is on that
Do
windowsill.
you see any discoloration here?
Sure, there's discoloration.
Could that be from
Allie.
children going in and out of that window?
They were not permitted to go in and out of that window. If they went in and out of that window, they were told they had to go through the front door and around to the backyard.
Thank you.
I think, and 5, 6, 7, 8, what he is, hey, Jody, I think what he's attempting to show is that the house is messy, like in the bedrooms, but there's no signs of a struggle, as if she was complicit or compliant, not complicit, compliant.
Publishing A84, set 1.
You really did a good job, Allie. You, all 3 of you girls did. It was
Ms. Matheson, this is a
very,
picture
very
of
well
the-
done and easy to follow.
little pail that sits outside your front door you used to place cigarette butts in. Do you see any recently smoked cigarette butts in there?
They all look
I don't-
recently smoked. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
I can't answer that. I can't tell if there's recent cigarette butts. There's no way of me knowing that.
No? Do you see one on top of all the rest?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What is the point? She's a smoker? Okay.
Publishing A86 set 1. Mrs. Mathewson, can you tell me what is on the sofa there?
That is my work laptop.
Okay. And did you use that at all between March 10th, March 11th at your house?
No.
No. Did you use it on a regular basis prior to that?
Yes.
Okay. Who purchased that computer for you?
Objection, Judge, relevance.
I'll just say it's relevant.
How do I know what? Coolest reviews. I'm a smoker, and I'm telling you right now, I couldn't tell which one. It looked like all of those cigarettes looked like they had been smoked around the same time. You know what I mean? If that's what you're asking me, I smoke, and I know what old cigarette butts look like, especially in Florida, especially after it's rained
Publishing A93 set 1.
or it's been, or you know what I mean. The moisture
And
gets
this
to
is
it.
the trash can in the kitchen, correct?
Yes.
And you see the items that are on the top.
Yes.
Okay, so a couple of water bottles, like a ball of string, and some
I shouldn't
random
say
trash
fresh.
that-
They all look like they were smoked around the same time. Like they don't
do you
look like they were
recall how much
had
strain
been
that might
sitting
be?
in there.
I have.
Do you know what I mean? Like days and days and days or anything
It's a lot
like
of
that.
string,
They all
and
look
it's
like
your
they were
testimony
smoked
that that
around the
string
same
fit my pocket.
time. What did he say? Sorry, let me.
Wrapped, but I saw it come from your pocket. Yes.
It's a lot of string, and it was your testimony that that string fit my pocket.
It was wrapped, but I saw it come from your pocket. Yes.
But it was outside.
All of that string came from my
That those
Yes.
cigarettes were outside. Good night, Max.
Publishing A95 set 1. Mrs. Mathewson is
Wasn't the thingy outside though,
the
Polly, where
Nyquil
she was
bottle that
putting
you
her
say
cigarette
that was
butts?
used.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And can you tell me how many doses you believe you took that weekend?
A few.
A few.
Don't say
did you
that.
ever
Coolest reviews. You're
test into
not.
anything different in another?
I only noticed because there was a
Madam?
leaf. Huh? You're trying to say that she
I don't-
doesn't
I
have
don't
good
recall.
memory
I
because
was
of
in
NyQuil?
shock when I was found. So but it was few.
A few. Would you like to refresh your memory?
What would refresh your memory?
Do you need to refresh your memory?
I don't need to refresh my memory.
Can you recall about how many times you've testified about this NyQuil?
This is the first time that I'm testifying about the NyQuil.
You've never spoken about this in any other proceeding related to this case.
I spoke about it in another case.
Okay.
What?
Do you recall what you said about the NyQuil?
I don't recall what I said in another case about the NyQuil.
Okay. Do you think you were very specific in another case about?
She
the
just said she didn't recall.
I don't recall the details of the NyQuil in another case.
Object, state, asked and answered.
Do you believe you would have said 2 doses?
Objection, Judge, a proper impeachment.
Just in.
I'm thinking that
And you.
I
did
don't
just
know
say
what other
earlier that you weren't
case.
feeling well that week.
Earlier in the week.
I'm wondering if they're
Publishing
saying
A96
I
set 1, please.
I don't understand this. Why they're talking about another
Ms.
case?
Mathewson, you see,
The only thing I can think of would be in
the
her
duct tape in that
statement
trash
because
can.
it can't be
You
to
say
the
that
other
was,
case
used
because
for what purpose?
he was already convicted before this happened.
I said that
Waiting
duct tape was
sentencing.
placed on my mouth.
Okay. Did you have any marks after the duct tape was pulled off?
Not that I recall.
Do you know if when you were evaluated at the hospital, they were able to test around your mouth for any kind of adhesive or any damage from duct tape?
I was thoroughly tested. They had to. I I can't recall.
Could that duct tape have been used for any other purpose that evening, that day, that in the past week?
That is I have no idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't figure this out. Don't you worry, guys. I will after this is over, and by the time I come back for tomorrow.
Wishing A100 set one.
Oh wait, tomorrow's Friday.
Ms. Matheson, what is this electronic device on the chair?
Hold on, wait, one second, Mr. Jones. My exhibit list, and Ms. Johnson, you can help me, says set 1 is A1 through 104.
Correct.
So
This
check,
is 100.
I thought you said 107.
I'm sorry, no, 100.
Okay, excellent.
Maybe we'll stream this in the morning, guys.
Ms.
What do you
Matheson, is
think?
that electronic device?
This is a tablet.
And your testimony was that it may or may not be working.
I'm gonna
I
get
don't
down to
know.
the bottom of
This
this. What other
tablet, They
case?
were complaining about it not reacting. They touched it.
Okay, but it's plugged in charging.
I was charging it to see what was going on with it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll stream this tomorrow, and it'll be early, you guys, because this judge does not play around. They're ready to go. They got the jury in there, and it starts at like 9 a.m. Eastern time. So we'll stream this tomorrow and see what's what.
I'm finished with this set. I'll return it to the clerk.
Ooh, Polly, I think he will. He seems like the type that would testify in his own defense. Mm-hmm. So tomorrow would be very perfect for streaming. And then tomorrow night, instead of me being live, we're going to go over to criminality. Let me get her channel. That's where I hang out on Friday night. Sometimes I be on panels, sometimes not, but I'm always in the chat. So hang on just a sec. Let me get her channel for you guys.
Okay, Ms. Matheson, let's move forward in time a little bit. So you're woken up and you say that you were drug into the living room. Do you remember approximately how long you were in the living room?
Approximately 3 hours.
Approximately 3 hours, okay. And in that time in the living room, have you described in any prior testimony as wrestling?
Yes.
Do you recall 3 hours? It's a lot of talking. Other than just your comments about going into some boats or offshore, do you recall what other things we were talking about for 3 hours?
There wasn't talking going on at this point. There was fighting, wrestling, me trying to get free and out of the house.
And did those photographs depict the kind of wrestling and fighting that you're talking about?
To me, they did.
They did?
Yes.
Do you recall our son Landon coming to the front door?
I recall knowing that Landon was there and him being in the vicinity of the front door.
Okay. Do you remember if you or I opened the door for him?
I
What
don't recall.
the?
How dark was it in that living room?
It was very dark.
Sorry, you guys.
As it got lighter, but at 3 a.m. I couldn't. I just knew it was you.
Okay. Well, I believe that you testified that the children left the home around 5:30 that morning. Is that correct?
Approximately.
So that brings it closer to 2.5 hours.
Good night,
The
and
children,
5, 6, 7,
They
8.
left
Thanks
at
for
5:30.
being
Do you believe
here.
that the sun was coming out at that point?
It was winter, not. That weekend was when daylight savings would have happened. We had not gone into the daylight savings yet, so I don't recall.
So you're just agreeing it was very dark in that living room.
Yes.
So
And but you don't remember all the things we were talking about. You thought we were fighting, wrestling, that kind of stuff for most of that time?
Yes,
And is that where you sustained some of the bruises,
yes,
some of the scratches?
yes.
Okay, so you think most of the injuries that were photographed happened in that living room?
Some happened in that living room, some happened through other moments of the events.
It was your testimony that you saw scarves wrapped around my body in the living room,
Tied to your belt loops.
tied to my belt, and they couldn't have come from your closet.
Those scarves were not at my new home.
Okay. So you didn't notice them at any other time until we were in a dark living room,
Yes,
and you could discern in that darkness the colors of peach, pink, and white.
I could not see the colors at that time.
It was your prior testimony that you noticed the colors. You stated the colors.
I know that they are those colors because you used them to tie me up after the struggle, so I know what colors they were.
Let me ask you, Mr. Matheson, do we ever use scarves intimately?
Objection, Judge?
Legal basis.
Your Honor, it goes to
She can answer the question.
I do not recall ever using scarves intimately.
in 16 years of marriage. Did we ever go beyond just regular intercourse?
Objection, Judge. Relevance?
Hold on, don't respond. I'm gonna allow it over.
Mr. Matheson, you may answer.
You're right, Coolest Review. She does. It is a great channel. And
was
true
a
crime is very heavy.
teenager when I began dating you.
I'm sorry, can you answer the question?
I'm answering the
Wait,
question.
wait, don't object. Don't cut her off.
Sorry.
But unless you intended to narrow the scope.
I just didn't want to get into her the history that she's starting out with. I did want to just ask.
Do you have a
During our
specific?
marriage.
Do you have a more specific question?
I asked during our marriage. I didn't ask about her teenage years. She started out with her teenage years. I asked about our marriage. Did we do more than just regular intercourse?
Well, do you have a more specific question than? I mean, that's a broad. More than you have a specific question during the marriage.
Okay, I can be specific. Did we, during our marriage, use peripheral objects?
It's still
in our
very
sexual
broad.
activity?
More in the early marriage, prior to having 5 children.
Oh my gosh,
Did
I
we get
forgot
more
that they had
adventurous
5
in our
children.
Sexual habits?
Judge, I'm going to object.
And the legal basis is
Relevance.
sustained.
Did we ever use scarves or strings or anything to as part of our sexual encounters from time to time?
I don't recall a single instance. I don't recall any.
But you do recall us using a variety of quote unquote toys and things of that nature.
Judge, I'm going to object to
Sustained as
relevance.
irrelevant.
Well, I'll move on.
Yes, thank you.
It was your testimony that we were in the living room when Arden came into the home.
Yes.
Is that correct? Is there any chance that you might be mistaken and we were in your bedroom when Arden came into the home?
The way I remember it is I was in the living room.
Do you recall possibly sitting on your bed when Arden came into the home?
Objection, Judge. Asked and answered.
Not this specific question. Only if you know.
I don't. What was the question?
Do you remember if you were sitting on your bed when Arden came into the room?
The way I recall it is I was sitting in the living room.
I think she's doing
And
very
Arden
well.
came
Hang on. I'm
Did
going
you
to
say
pause
anything
this
to Arden?
just real
No.
quick.
Did you look at Arden?
Mrs. O, I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that over the course of several years, he has postponed, done so many. He's come in pro se, then first he hired attorneys, then he fired attorneys, then he was pro se, so I think that when the state was preparing her. I think that they prepared her as much as they could for this, that he was going to want to that it was a possibility that he was going to be the one that ended up cross-examining her. And I think that they prepared her very, very well. And I agree with Polly. I think that the reason that she is able to get through this in the way that she is that she is not even looking at him. You've got to, I mean, I, I don't know how, I don't know if I would be able to do it. I'm not even, I don't know. I hope I never have to find out either.
I looked at her. She did not look at me.
Did you say anything to the two younger children?
No.
How long was Arden in the home?
A few moments.
A few moments, isn't seconds, minutes?
Enough time to get the children and leave.
Did she take anything with her?
I have no idea if she took anything with her.
Did Arden leave peacefully?
Yes.
Do you believe that if there was some problem, Arden would have spoken up?
Objection, Judge. Speculation.
Sustained.
Okay, I will go for it. After Arden left, was I on my telephone?
I have no idea.
Do you know if I was communicating with Arden while she drove to my house?
At the time, I had no idea she drove to your house.
Okay. While she was, right after she left, what did we do?
You tied me up.
Before she left? After she left?
After she left, you tied me up
Where?
in my bed.
In your bed. And you said this was with string. You said, Christmas lights. And you said a vacuum cleaner.
Yes.
So it was. How did I go get the Christmas lights?
Correct,
That's
coolest
all you tied
reviews.
with the scarf and the string. Then you left and went and got the Christmas lights
So I left the room to go get Christmas lights.
while I was tied up.
And there were other items you saw in the room that probably would have been easier than going out to your garage to get Christmas
Objection, Judge. Speculation.
Sustained is to speculation.
Let me ask you this, Ms. Matheson. What is the time frame between when Arden left and there were videos made on your telephone?
About 5:30, 6 o'clock, she left. The videos happened when I was first hogtied, which would be approximately 11 o'clock. 6, I'm trying to do the math while I'm thinking. It's 5 hours.
5 hours? Okay. What did we talk about for 5 hours?
I didn't do much talking. You can go on and on and on about random nonsense, and it's incoherent.
I
nonsense
know.
that you can just
Bowling
go
with
on.
cotton balls. It's terrible. I can't imagine.
Do you remember specifically what incoherent nonsense I was talking about?
Chartering a boat, money in offshore accounts, going to the island, having a bodyguard to watch me, your parents' involvement, our children, what happened through the
That was a
marriage.
really
There's
an
many,
excellent
many
point.
topics that you could go on for hours about.
Do you remember speaking to me about any offshore accounts? Do you remember questioning me about offshore accounts?
You want to talk about the offshore accounts?
Did you question me about where they are?
There are 2 reasons why I would believe that you had offshore accounts. 2 reasons.
I'm just asking right now if you asked me where those offshore accounts are.
Judge, we're going to need to approach.
All right. We'll excuse the jury, gentlemen of the jury. Please do not discuss the case amongst yourselves or do any research related to the case. We'll take a very short break. All rise for the jury.
Whew.
The feds were after him due to his money.
He's opening the door. She can answer. But I appreciate her hesitancy, not knowing since there was a motion in limine. But if he asks for that information and that's the answer to it, that's called opening the door, which he clearly is doing if he wants to continue that line of questioning. Anything else? Did you want to be heard, Mr. Summers?
Yes, sir. I'm not asking about anything federal. I'm asking that she specifically asked me one question about having offshore accounts.
So what exactly is your question to her?
If she asked me,
Did you
Did she-
ask me about the accounts?
I asked, did she ask me where I had offshore accounts? Has nothing to do with my.
That's a specific leading question that calls for a yes or a no answer.
Yes.
So, but be very careful.
Yes.
I'm going to just answer that question, yes or no. But if you ask any other questions that are not specifically questions that call for a yes or a no, that require you to say something in response to that question that may have been the subject of motion in limine, you absolutely may do it.
Judge, the concern is if her answer is she did not ask specific questions about it, which then calls in question to the jury. Why didn't she question him more about it? She didn't question him more about it because she already knew all of these federal issues he has had for years and years and years. So it may see
So he may still open the door with his leading question. If she says no, then on redirect, you're welcome to ask redirect questions related to the answer she gave on cross.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you understand that, Mr. Summers? I don't know what she's going to say. I know you want to know whether she asked you about them, yes or no. What Ms. Johnson is suggesting that if she says no, then that leaves open the opportunity in the question on redirect as to why didn't you ask her? And if the reason that she didn't is the basis of a motion in limine that stuff she wasn't supposed to talk about, you opened that door.
Well, I think, Your Honor, we just put the idea in her head about that. That's not the basis of this question.
Well, I mean, she's under oath to answer truthfully, and the question you want answered right now is yes or no, did she ask you? And I'm going to allow it. You proceed at your own risk as to whether you open any doors. You understand that?
Yes.
Judge, we do also, I want to put on the record, I know Your Honor had mentioned yesterday that if we do not finish, the state had planned on resting Thursday. We are doing everything to move as quickly as we can. We are eliminating some of our witnesses that are not absolutely necessary to prove our charges.
That's good.
And we have serious concerns based upon the number of continuances that this defendant has filed in this case, that he does not want this case to go to a jury. And now that you have made that comment, that is the state's serious concern that he is going to do anything and everything he can to prolong this case.
Approximately how much longer do you anticipate your cross of this witness is going to be?
Your Honor, you're welcome to see my notes. I'm on page 2 of 14.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm just going item by item, crossing exactly the things she attested to.
Simple question.
So I would estimate, what time are we breaking for lunch?
As soon as the lunch gets here, which could be any minute now. Oh, they went to pick it up. So, yeah, so we're not going to, we're going to go ahead and, well, I'll bring them in and tell them we're going to break for lunch. No, you know what? There's no need to do that unless either of you want me to do it. We'll just tell them this is their lunch break, give them the lunch, and we'll pick back up in 30 minutes from the time they get it. I want to give them 30 minutes to digest their lunch. But back to the topic of his cross-examination. I mean, how long was the direct examination of this witness in hours? Do we know? Including yesterday and today. Do you know? Do you have an idea? Not you. Ms. Johnson, you did the direct. Approximately how many hours?
I don't recall how long the breaks were, Judge, so I cannot honestly tell you.
Okay, well, doing this 30-minute break, let's figure that out, because that would be my first indication. If the cross is significantly longer, then absolutely. But if the cross is around the same time as the direct, I don't know that there's much room to criticize the cross. So I just want to know. And he knows how many more pages. So when we come back, we'll know how many hours, and we'll also figure out how long the cross has been going. So that'll give a good indication, a good window. Mr. Summers, would you agree with me that a cross-examination, but that if the direct examination was 4 hours, that perhaps you can say that your cross is going to be no longer than that?
I can agree to that, Your Honor, being that the state was willing to take the subpoena if we're willing to do that, and I can direct examine Ms. Summers or Ms. Mathewson.
Well, okay, well, but then that extends the time. Calling her in direct, which is also a different dynamic as to why you may or may not want to do it that way. But Ms. Johnson, are you willing to accept the subpoena from him to serve
Hey,
on her?
faraway
Yes, Judge, I
eyes.
have always told Mr. Marchese that I would accept the subpoena.
Okay, all right. Well, then you can do that during the break, and it's done. So absolutely, if you need to call her during your case in chief, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, Ms. Johnson, what are you suggesting? Are you suggesting that I limit his time on cross? Or are you suggesting that I limit his time on his case in chief? What are you asking me to do?
We are prepared to stay as late as the court will allow us tonight. We have witnesses lined up, so we only have 4 witnesses left tomorrow. That was our plan.
Okay.
Now that the defendant is representing himself, obviously that plan has kind of gone out the window.
Okay.
So if the court will let us go as late as possible, because we do have serious concerns, if we don't, that we will not
fulfill our duty in telling the court we would rest tomorrow.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do believe, though, I could be wrong, we can go back and check, but I do believe that you may have indicated before, he was pro se when he came in, and I think that's when I first verified how long the case was gonna be. So I don't know that the estimate from the state changed from before he was represented to when he was represented. I don't know. It's not necessary. I agree with you. I want to get the case done. I don't want to declare a mistrial and have to come back. And I don't know. And I'm not saying that we will have to declare a mistrial. We did not take the opportunity because I thought you were going to rest on Thursday to ask the jurors if they're available next week. They may very well be, and it's a non-issue. We'll go all next week. What if we have to?
The state won't meet all next week, Judge.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I said I will give you as much time as you need to finish the case. Let's take a 10-minute break.
Wow. See, I think the judge's frustration there, and we're going to like wrap it up. I don't really want to stream more than this on his cross-examination, because I know he does ask some really intimate questions, and I don't want to stream that. But what I will say is I will agree 100% with what you're saying, Polly, that the judge is on pins and needles. He is very cognizant of what's gone on prior and what is the potential, because I think that there were motions prior to this about the federal case, and that I'm sort of thinking that perhaps the federal case might be in appeals, and that that's why there is the motions that were filed about not really talking a lot about the other case pending. So he's trying, and the fact of the matter is Mr. Summers is not an attorney. He's never, I mean, not only is he not an attorney, it's not like he's ever been to law school. Like, he doesn't have any, education in law. He's definitely not sat for the bar. He doesn't have a Juris Doctorate. Like, he's not qualified. And I think that he's trying to be careful in his rulings so that it's as level of a playing field as it can be without there being a potential mistrial, because I think everybody involved in this case wants it, except for Mr. Summers, wants the case to be over. I know you are Nonstop Mom, but I don't know. I've been on for 2 hours, and I normally can go for a long, long time, but I'm tired tonight, and I got to get up early for tomorrow's school day. So I think this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to end it tonight, and I will stream tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'll go ahead and set the, schedule the stream, and we can all meet back here at 9 Eastern for the start of the court. And then tomorrow night I'll be over on criminalities, but I'm free Saturday, so we can go through the case if you guys want to on Saturday night, if you guys want, and see where we're at, depending on what ends up happening tomorrow. Who knows? Because it's live trial, I never know what's going to happen, but for sure we'll go through it on Saturday and talk a little bit more about it in depth if you guys want to. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you guys for always supporting me. You guys are a great chat. You really are. So I'll see you guys in the morning at I'll schedule the stream for like 8:45. That way we'll have like 15 minutes or whatever to like. Oh, nonstop mom, you are such a card. Please don't ever change. I'll schedule the stream for like 8:45 in the morning. Yes. And then that way we can chit chat before the court resumes. What do you think? Yes? Okay, cool. All right. You're welcome, Polly. Thanks for being here. You guys, y'all come back now. You hear? I'll see y'all in the morning. All right. Good night. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I will see you in the morning. All right. Bye.